Do you ever feel like you're doing all of this study and making absolutely no progress with your art? Because I did, and I spent a whole year teaching myself to draw the wrong way. And the craziest part is that the fix wasn't in a tutorial, it wasn't in an art book, it had been staring me in the face. It's something that I've been using every single day for almost a decade in my classrooms. And when I finally connected the dots over 6 months, my art went from chicken scratch to actual improvement. So today I'm going to give you 5 teaching hacks that I use every single day in my learning that has actually made real improvement in my art. And they're so simple that you can apply them right now. And even if you do only one of them, I guarantee you will see improvements. Every lesson I teach lives and dies in the first 5 minutes. If I can nail that window, absolute flow. If you miss it, chaos. When I first started drawing, I was skipping this window completely. I'd sit down, dive into a sketch, and wonder why it all looked like garbage. Everything felt stiff, everything just felt off. And I know what you're thinking, it is such a simple fix. But the problem is I was still doing it wrong. It took me a year to realize it, but I wasn't warming up my hand, I wasn't warming up my brain before I would start to do my learning. The fix is stupidly simple. A low pressure, ready to go warm up. It's nothing fancy, it's something that just eases you in. Set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes and just go. But here is the key, the thing that wrecked me the most. Whatever you do in your warm up, you need to carry it into your learning or into your drawing. I'd spend 5 minutes practicing flowy lines and drawing with my shoulder and my elbow. And then when I'd get into my work, I would start using my fingertips and all this chicken scratch bullshit, and I'd wonder why my drawing looked like garbage. And I did it for months and I wondered why there was no improvement. And here's the thing, these warm-ups, they taught me that I had a lot of bad habits. And this is one of the worst. The biggest challenge that we face as self-taught artists is that there is no one there to point out your errors. And the biggest trap is erasing your work before you get to ask the most important question. Why does it look wrong? In my classroom, my kids hate me, but I ban erasers. If they want it, they gotta go to my desk, they gotta ask permission before they can use it. They hate it, but it forces them to face their mistakes. And when I was learning art, I realized that I was doing the opposite to what I do in my classrooms. The amount of times I would jam that Control Z and delete my work before I got a chance to look at it and analyze it was bonkers. And the second I flipped that, things started to change. Now, if I'm drawing a box or a mannequin and it looks off, I don't erase it. I finish the drawing and I analyze it. After I've looked at it, I'll redraw that exact same thing. You're gonna compare it, you're gonna iterate, and then you're gonna leave the evidence there. It's brutal at first and it feels like you're wasting so much time. But I promise you, catching these mistakes and actually analyzing them has made so much more improvement than any tutorial or any art book could possibly have on your learning. But here's the thing, catching those mistakes won't mean shit if you're teaching yourself the wrong way. Here is the single worst way to teach someone how to ride a bike. On Monday, give them a bike. Tuesday, roller skates. Wednesday, skateboard. And Thursday, a surfboard. And then on Friday, ask them why the fuck they can't ride a bike. Now, it sounds so stupid, but I know that I did it so much. One day I learned perspective, then I would jump to portraits, and then I would jump to architecture, and then I'd do anatomy, and then I'd get to the end of the week and wonder why I have made no progress in any of them. My biggest problem is that my monkey brain jumps to the newest, shiniest thing that I see in a YouTube video or in an art book. Depending how complex it is in the classroom, you pick and stick to a topic for 1 to 2 weeks to make sure that the kids get it. And the second I started treating my art like this, lo and behold, I fucking made progress. And the fix is so simple. Pick something and stick to it for at least 5 days. And it feels boring, it really does. And I know that my ADHD brain can't handle the fact that I'm sticking to this one thing over and over again, but that is where the progress lies. I want you to try it for a week, stick to it, but I really want you to notice how long it takes you to want to jump from that topic and move to something else. But even then, when I did finally start to focus, I ran into the next biggest problem with teaching and the most frustrating thing that happens in classrooms. Each term, this happens without fail. I teach a topic, the kids nail it, then they go away for 2 weeks on holidays and come back and it has vanished from their minds. When I started learning, I was doing the same thing. I'd focus on perspective for a week, feel like that I've really got a solid grasp on it, then I'd move on to the next topic and I'd forget about everything I'd done. Then a month later, I'd come back and try to draw a box and everything was just wrong. Spaced repetition is a real thing. Once you've nailed a topic, you need to keep revisiting it. And again, the fix is so simple. When you move on to a topic, revisit the old stuff in future lessons just as a warm-up or as an exercise before you tackle that new topic. If kids forgetting stuff after the school holidays is one of the most frustrating things of teaching, this is one of the hardest. Having a new refugee kid from a country that doesn't speak English walk into my room and expect them to pick up and read a novel that's targeted at their age would be ridiculous. That is only going to end in failure. So no matter what age they are, we need to strip things right back and go back to the foundations. And drawing is the same. You've heard it a million times, but the foundations are key. Copying artists is great, and trying to draw from your imagination is awesome, but it's only going to improve if you nail down those fundamentals. Yeah, they can get boring, but if you skip them, you are going to hit a ceiling and you're not going to know how to get past it. Yes, the fundamentals are so important, but they are also damn boring if it's all you do. So don't forget, go out and copy artists that you like, make that dumb comic that you've always wanted to make, but apply the thinking that you've been doing, learning your fundamentals to it. These teaching hacks are not magic, but they've stopped me just spinning the wheels and got me on a track to making real progress. If you're teaching yourself to draw, steal some of these. I guarantee you they will help you progress.